Hello, guys, and welcome to the season finale of season 2 of the Delegate Wranglers show. Well, we've got a great show lined up. It's been a fantastic 10 weeks. We've got the amazing Fay Sharpe on with us today, giving us a goal setting masterclass. I've had a sneak preview of what we'll be talking about, and you are going to love it. So sharpen your pencils, guys. This is going to be a brilliant show. As always, we've got the DW live show panel coming up a bit later on in the show. We've got tons and tons of stuff. And as usual, we're on Facebook, we are on YouTube. Please follow us on our social media channels. I'm going to take the credit for this. I've just designed this funky social media thing here that you're seeing on the screen. No, I'm not. Callum did it. Callum and the team and Dom. So thank you guys for doing that. But just search on the Delegate Wranglers and you can find us everywhere on all our social media channels. We've also got the weekly Lowdown later on, the thing that we do with Mass Media about all the positive news in the event industry. So look out for that. Martin Fullard presenting as usual. And yeah, we're really looking forward to a great show. As usual, big thanks to our season sponsors, Untitled. We've got a quick video from them, the last one of the season. We'd like to thank them for their amazing support these last 10 weeks. So check this out, guys.
We have relished the opportunity to sponsor this masterclass series and have really gotten value out of the presentations over the past few months. Having already seen massive changes both in events and the world in general, we are looking ahead extremely positively for the rest of 2021. Although events may be in a slightly uncertain place at the moment, the shift in attention, focus, drive and planning means that no matter what happens, the Events Air platform will come into its own. No matter the size, the scale, requirements or complexities of your events, our technology is designed from the ground up to support and deliver. And as we enter this new and exciting phase for the events industry, the need for flex between live and virtual into hybrid offerings covering both domestic and global audiences is a challenge faced by all and solved by Events Air. So once again, thank you to the Delegate Wranglers and their amazing community for all the comments and demo requests we have received so far. And for those who want to get in touch, please do so via the contact details that are in the chat. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Big thank you to Andy there and the team from Events. What an amazing job they've done over the last 10 weeks. Check them out, guys. We will be putting links to them as usual. And I think Andy's normally in the chat room as well. So if you need anything from them, please let them know. A couple of people I forgot to thank was our friends at Events Case for all the the registration platform that we use, and also to the guys at Stream for doing such a good job with the production and everything you see on this show, and the way it's slickly produced is done by them. So big thank you to Dom, Ed and Callum and the team. So without any further ado, I would like to progress on to talking to my fantastic guest today, the wonderful Fay Sharpe. Hello, Fay. How are you?
Hello, Neil. How are you today?
I'm really, really good. Really, really good. I've been looking forward to the show. I know we chatted a couple of days ago about what we're going to be going through, and there is absolutely tons to talk about. So before we go any further, do you want to give us a quick potted history about, your life in the events world and how you've got to where you are now? A quick one.
Well, yeah, try and be quick. I mean, just to start off, I've always been into goals, right? So ever since I was a kid. And just for a bit of background about me, I don't come from a very well-off background. I was born into a council house, working class family. Dad was a janitor, mum worked in a shop. They both worked 7 days a week, which is where I get my work ethic from. And my dad died when I was 14. When I hit that age and he passed away, my mum said, "What do you want to be?" And I said, "I don't know, but I want to be somebody." And that's the sort of beginning of my story and beginning of setting goals. I'm happy to maybe elaborate in a mo.
Yeah. No, so you come from kind of a vast events, history in the events world as well. Do you want to tell us a bit about that side of it as well?
Sure, Absolutely. So having had that background, I went on. I put myself through uni. I joined the Hilton Hotels graduate program. Worked my way through to be the youngest director of sales. And when I got to about 26, I went into business with someone that I knew, and we set up IBR, which was one of the first venue finding agencies. We went on to buy 3 or 4 other companies, and I rebranded that to Zybrant in 2005. And then I sold that in 2007 to Motivecom.
Fantastic. So I know today is all about goal setting, and I know we've got lots of people tuned in for that. I just want to say a quick hello to everybody in the chat room: Mandeep, Steph, Dom. Hi, Dom, Richard, Simone, Felicity. Lots of people here. I'm expecting some good questions from you guys as well. And we've got people watching on YouTube as well. Hello to all you guys. So, Fay, this is about goal setting. First of all, do you want to tell us just a quick overview of goal setting? You know, I know it means different things to different people. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I need to take you back a little bit, Neil, because to understand where my ethos of goal setting comes from, because I think it's really important to know, what drives you. So, taking you back to that story about my beginnings, I set my first big goal when I was in my first job at Hilton Hotels, and my boss said to me, what do you want to be, Fay? And I said, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. And I didn't know it at the time, but I'd set myself quite a tangible goal there. Now, at the time I was earning $3,000. I was at the most junior job in a hotel, so he laughed at me. I went on to set up those agencies, as I've told you. And in 2007, I sold Zybrant for 15.9 million. Now, I didn't quite make my goal, because when I was 30, I actually owed about £500,000, but I moved the goalpost and reset my goals and went on to achieve it. So I think that we all have goals, but very often people are very vague about their goals. They don't actually write them down. They don't actually specify a timescale, etc. And I think sometimes in life we get stuck with things. We just carry on doing the same old thing every day. And without goals, we're sort of almost like not moving forward. So for me, goals are the fundamental cornerstone to actually progressing in life.
Yeah, I think you almost have to create a goal. You almost have to stop, put your foot on the brake, and take a look at what you're doing and where you're going. And I know there's different types of goals, isn't there, that you can set. You know, it doesn't have to be financial or business. It can be personal. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. When I'm doing my mentoring, I mentor people 360. So I think that in order to be successful in work, you need to be happy outside of work. And life is not just all about pleasure, but it's not all just about career or work either. So I think that setting goals for yourself in your personal life as well as your work life actually makes you a really person. And also is fulfilling. I mean, we all want to be motivated, right? We all want to feel like we're going somewhere, we're doing something, we're achieving something. So I think that goals in both parts of your life, in all parts of your life, is really important. And probably I'm going to ask the audience later, even if maybe they could put this on the chat, to actually tell me what their goals are. You know, just pick one thing that you're working on at the moment, and we'll maybe come back to that and look at whether or not those goals are specific or not. I mean, for example,
guys,
Neil, do you have a goal?
I have a goal. Obviously, you know, mine has kind of evolved along the way with the Delegate Wranglers. You know, I started this group and it grew organically, and then there's a point when you think, okay, this is more than something that's just quite popular. It's something that could become my life. So I think I've achieved one of them. My first goal was to go full time on the Delegate Wranglers. So that was one of them. I think, you know, I've got other goals, but they include growing this group to be as big as I can. Now, I know you might say I need to be a bit more specific about that.
Okay, so that, I'm not being mean to you, but that's a vague goal. We all have vague goals, right? We all say every day, I want to lose weight, I want to get a promotion, etc. Those are intentions. They're not really what I call a firm goal. So I have a number of rules that I put into place, and that is, I've got it behind me. You can see what is it why do you want to do it, and when are you going to do it? And I think that my number one rule is, whatever your goal is, big or small, baby goal, big goal, write it down. You're at least twice as likely to make that happen if you write it down. And then also, once you've got that goal, so you said, just said to me, to make Delegate Wranglers as big as I can. Well, how will you know that it is big as it can be? Because that's intangible. So I think going back to the next thing, and I've got it on here, and that is SMART, be specific, So for example, with you, you might say, I want 100,000 followers by the 1st of December. And I want to be making £10 million. So I think that with any goal, you just need to make sure that you've got a measurement around it. And I did hear some people talking recently about SMART and saying, oh, throw it out the window. Bottom line is, unless you've got some sort of measurement around a goal, it's just a bit wishy-washy. So I think you need, whatever you do, you need to put some measurement so that you can say when you get there, I've achieved my goal. Like mine was, I wanted to be a millionaire by the time I was 30. I didn't make it by the time I was 30. I had to reset it. By the time I was 40, I made it. So I reset it, realigned what I needed to do, and then, carried on forward. So I think that having a SMART model is really important. But also understanding, why do you want to make Delegate Wranglers as big as it can be? Recognition, money, you want to leave a legacy. There's all sorts of reasons, and all of them are valid, I'm sure. So
So guys, just to reiterate that, if you want to put any of your goals that you'd like to share with us in the chat, we've had one in already from Bethan Trevitt. Hi Bethan.
Okay.
My goal is to set up a new social enterprise along my business that can work alongside it. I'd like to do this in the next 12 months with the idea of having a venue in the next 2 years. So I think some good advice there for Bethan is to work to the SMART program that you're talking about there.
Well, definitely. I'd say to Bethan, also, you talk about a social enterprise, which is really important. And I think a lot of people, guys that I talk to, ladies and guys I talk to these days, actually want to do good stuff. It's not just about money. They want to make a difference to the world. They want to do things that are gonna change. So that's a really great ethos to have behind you.
They're not mutually exclusive, are they, Fay? Being successful and doing something for to help others are not mutually exclusive at all.
Absolutely. And also, don't be ashamed if you're going to make money. The thing is that there's nothing wrong with making money. But I think it's also, if you can couple that with an ethical, sustainable, socially conscious business, then you're a winner, right? So I'd say to Bethan, definitely look at the SMART goals, but also ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is my driver? What are my values? And I personally live and die by my values. When I'm in business, things like respect, professionalism, etc. Build that into everything you do with your goal, so that it aligns with your own personal values. So, but it sounds like you've got a timeline. I heard a timeline, 12 months.
12 months, and then 12 months and then 2 years to have a venue. So it sounds like Bethan's well on the way there, Bethan. Keep us updated how you're getting on. If we can help you.
The next part of that, which is really important. So how when I'm setting a goal, first of all, an idea will pop into my head, which I call an intention. So it's a thought or an idea, and then if I feel like I want to take that intention into a goal, I then write the goal down, whatever that is. So the next part of it is actually writing that down with a timeline around it and a measurement, i.e., how will I know I've achieved it? But the last part of it, and the most important part, which is where a lot of people make a goal and then just go round and round and round in circles, is make an action plan. So you've got to have actions that then ensure that the goal, you're going to be starting off getting the goal working. So I think that what I would say to Bethan is, if she can start building an action plan, and I thought I'd do a mind map with you later, Neil, just to help people look at how they can start thinking about an action plan. So
Fantastic. So what I was going to say, Fay, is when you're saying let's set a goal, let's set a big goal, like Bethan's of having a venue in 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you need to set mini goals along the way as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So I use a system, which is my own system called the Mentoring Mountain. So I've got my top of the mountain, the peak, but along the way, I've got base camp, I've got 1,000 meters and so on and so forth. So it's really hard to go from A to Z without having all of the letters in between. So what, as part of your action plan, what you need to do is be looking at how and what you need to do to get to that top point. And actually, to keep motivated, setting yourself smaller goals along the way is actually going to help you achieve the
that
end
you can
goal.
achieve them along the way and get some credit for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, for example, you could be looking into building a business plan for that business. You could be creating some social media channels. You could be looking into how to get your IP protected. So there are lots of things that you can do along the way. Or building your own knowledge, for example. You could, one of the things you could be doing is taking a course in something that actually builds your business knowledge or your knowledge about the particular thing you want to do. So there's lots of things you can do. It's very rare that someone goes from A to Z, as I mentioned, without actually having those baby goals. And celebrate those goals. When you've achieved something along the way, stop. I call it a conscious congratulations. So I now consciously congratulate myself. I'm currently on a health and fitness plan, goal, set myself. And when I achieve things along the way, whether it's lifting 45 kilos with my PT, or losing half a pound, or walking 20,000 steps in a day, I say to myself, well done, you've achieved something. So it's actually consciously congratulating myself for getting there. So make sure you build that into your plan.
I'd say go one step further and go to an outdoor pub and celebrate every win. Now we can.
Absolutely. I've got enough calories left today for some wine, so that's good.
Definitely. So we've got some that have just come in the chat. So Simone said, one of hers is to take on 3 new commercial accounts per month, with the first goal being 50 accounts. We distill gin and produce liquors. So we currently got 8. So that's good, because it looks like Simone has got some kind of targets there to hit and some goals to head for.
Yeah, that's a work goal, and absolutely she can. Those goals are sort of target driven, etc. They're not necessarily. They might be personal to her job, but they're maybe not personal to her. Her goal might be that by getting those accounts, she might then get promoted to head of sales. And so also remember what's in it for you. So if you're setting goals that are business goals, what's in it for you? How is that going to impact you? So if you're bringing in 5 new accounts, going back to the bringing in 5 new accounts again, though, you do need to look at how you're going to do that. What is the action plan? So for example, on the sales front, okay, I'm going to connect up with 20 new people a day on LinkedIn and message them and reach 5 appointments a week. I'm going to create a new proposal. There needs to be an action plan that she's building into that, how she's going to do it, because otherwise she'll wake up in 6 months' time and she'll go, damn, I haven't got those accounts.
You can't just pick a number, can you, and think we've got to achieve that. You've got to have a plan to actually do it.
Having been in sales most of my career, if you want to win 5 new accounts, you've probably got to have 100 or more in your pipeline. To actually narrow that down to 5 actual sales, depending on what your ratios are. But so you need to then I would then build that into a sales plan, a sales and marketing plan, possibly, where I've got a pipeline.
Okay, so I know that's something that's really important with those things that you're talking about, Fay, about the planning, is actually, and this is probably going back to a show that we did with Laura a couple of weeks ago about time management. You've got to allow yourself some time to plan these things, haven't you? Because, like me, I'm just constantly busy working all the time. And sometimes the most important thing, the planning stage, goes to the bottom of the pile because you've got some burning issues to deal with. I think it's really important to schedule these into your weekly or daily tasks. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a great list maker. I love lists.
Yeah, we all are in events, aren't we? We love a list.
I love a list. But I would say that what you need to do, though, is I try to tackle the tough stuff first. So if you've got some really tough stuff to do, try and prioritize what is the toughest, what's got to be done, because otherwise what happens is the reactive stuff keeps coming to the top of the list, and everything else drops out, and you end up just doing the do. But also, I mean, give yourself a break. I mean, again, sometimes in life you don't have to get everything done today. I mean, I've worked hard all my life, maybe slightly hypocritical here, but I've probably changed the last couple of years, and I think that you have to have a balance in life. So I think that, what I would say is that for me, I'm very focused when I'm working. So I don't mess around. I crack on with the work. That means that I can get it done faster, so I can be finished on time or whatever. So
I think it's really important. I think it's really important as well, because if you plan well, then you can work smart, but you need to give yourself a bit of time to, set these goals, know what you're aiming for, keep coming. I guess you keep having to come back to them, don't you, Fay, as well? Keep having to look at them and revise them slightly, would you say? Or are you one of these people who just sticks with how the final is?
No, absolutely. I mean, like the goal I told you about, my millionaire by 30, I didn't get there. I actually owed money when I was 30, so I had to reset. So no, I absolutely, again, you can reset your goals. It's not a problem. It's part of life. You can, everything doesn't go to plan. What I would say though is get other people to help you. So, part of a successful leader or a successful business person is actually working with other people, bringing them with you and getting them to help you. So I'm not good at everything. There are certain things I don't like, and take me a long time to admin is not, is the bane of my life. So I work with people who are good at that. They're much faster than me, and they'll get the job done quicker. So find people to work around you that are better at certain things than you, and get them to help you, and then you can help them. So it's a two-way street,
Yeah, I'm a great believer in that as well. And also, something I've learned, and we discussed it the other day, you don't have to do every task yourself. There are other people in your team who can take over things to allow you to do these planning, which will allow the company to grow and get better, be run better.
Absolutely. And but also sometimes there's a lot of people out there that are freelancing and on their own or in small businesses. There are resources you can use. So whether it be a virtual PA or, someone that's going to help you do a bit of marketing or social media, or it might be, there are people you can reach out to. You just need to allow that within your budgeting and planning of what you're doing.
You spend. I would advocate that kind of stuff is the best money you could spend, because then you can do the important stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So I know we've got quite a few bits to get through, Fay. So just before we go to the halfway break, I've got on my list, how do you actually make a goal happen? And how do you know when you've achieved it? I mean, is it something that you have to look at your business and think, I've got to do this right from the start, or is it something that as you're going along that you would set yourself some goals? What's your view?
Well, goals can happen anytime, basically. Sometimes you can do something by chance. Like you've talked about the fact that Delegate Wranglers sort of was almost organic. And then suddenly you've decided, right, this is going well. I'm going to make this, into the biggest group on Facebook or whatever. So sometimes what you want to do right from the start. So Bethany, who we talked to or who messaged us earlier, she's setting up from the start. She knows what her goal, or she's got a goal that she's writing down. She can work on that. Some people know it from the beginning. Some people suddenly it comes to them as they go along. Sometimes it happens to me. I mean, I've been running. I set Fast Forward 15 up, my mentoring program 7 years ago. And at the time, I'd done a coaching and mentoring diploma, but I hadn't sort of consciously thought about it before that. And I was in a room at the event 100, and what triggered me to do something and set it up was the fact that I think about 78% of the nominees were men, and there were only 22% or 12, I can't remember now the exact figures, but not very many women, basically. And I thought, wow, where are all the women in our industry? Why are they not here? So I went away, wrote the program, and came up with a concept and reached out to people and set up Fast Forward 15. So I had a goal. What that was going to become, at that time I probably didn't have a clear intention, but I knew I wanted to do something about that problem, and I knew I wanted it to be something that helped people progress in their careers or what they wanted to do. So so going back to your original question, goals can happen at any point. you could start doing something and then realize that you've got something successful on your hand, and then build on that and actually create maybe a goal out of that opportunity that you're doing. So
yeah, because I think what I was going to say, Faye, sorry to interrupt, what I was going to say was, it's almost like if you think of it like something that you want to do and then create a goal, it's almost like the tail's wagging the dog, but in a good way, if you know what I mean, because you're setting that goal and then you're thinking how I'm going to get there. But there are other ways, like my way, you know, I've let it develop and then setting a goal. Kind of thing.
Absolutely. And I mean, like with Fast Forward 15, for example, I'm now creating 2 new from that. I'm doing a personal commercial mentoring, mentoring excellence with Millionaire Mentor. That's me, and I'm also setting up a not-for-profit mentoring program in politics called Arrive in Politics. So things come. You know, I'm a great believer in if you do something and if you start actioning it, sometimes things come to you. So you then can look at that opportunity and say, right, how can I make this into a goal to make it tangible? The question you asked me, how will I know if I've got there? Well, if you've done a SMART goal, if you've written down when you're going to do it by, what it is, why you're doing it, etc., how you're going to measure it, then you'll know. So, for example, if you said, I want a promotion by January the 1st with £1,000 pay rise, and I want to be managing people, that's okay. I don't know the title yet, because it might be that your boss has to, it might be that you realign a position or something. Or if you know what title you want, you might say, I want to be director of sales by the 1st of January 2022, £5,000 more, and I want to be managing 10 people. That's pretty clear. You're going to know on the 1st of January whether or not you've achieved that goal or not. And
Absolutely.
if you don't, you need to go back and look at why you haven't achieved it and what you need to do to get there, and then maybe reset the timeline. But if you just reset the timeline without any actions, you're likely to find yourself in 6 months' time in the same position. So I'd take a step back and, for example, in a particular instance, say, have I talked to my boss about my goal and my intentions that I want to be in this position? Have I asked them what I need to do to get to that position? Have I set myself a plan? And have I boss communicated with along the way in order to ensure that they're on board? Because if they've done that, then the likelihood is their boss is going to say, right, yes, you've achieved all the goals and objectives and we're there. So
I was just going to, it kind of led me to a question I was just going to ask you about. What happens, when you don't achieve the goal? To not let it affect you. It's just a matter of resetting it and, I guess, reassessing why it didn't happen and what were the factors and what you need to do to hit your new goals. You shouldn't, like you say, it's no point just saying, oh, well, I'm going to give myself another 12 months to get those 5 customers or whatever. You've got to reset it, I think, and look at it differently, surely.
Review and reset. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, again, going back to the baby goals, if you've got lots of goals along the way, lots of little wins along the way, the likelihood is you're not going to be far from that goal. If you've expected to go from A to Z without any of the alphabet in between, then the likelihood is you're still going to be at A or B, So what you've got to do is those baby goals along the way. So promotion is a good goal, with as long as you put the timeline and the specifics around it. So you might say, for example, the first part of that goal set would be to have a meeting with your boss and talk to them about the career path and what you want to get to, etc., and what things he or she is looking for in terms of that role in the future. And then the next step might be to put a plan together to actually present to your boss and also have actions within that. So, for example, they might say, well, you need management skills and you haven't got that. So you then need to go away and think about, well, how can I get leadership stroke management skills when I haven't got anyone to manage? And people go, well, how can I do that? And I go, well, you need to think outside the box. You've got to be creative. So, for example, in that instance, you might set up a charity committee.
Yeah.
And you might lead that charity committee and make things happen, get people to do things. Or you might set up a sustainability committee that's voluntary. So without actually having obviously you've got to get your boss on board and say, I'd like to do this or that or the other. But hopefully if you're doing something good for your company, they're going to go, wow, this is brilliant.
Yeah,
well done.
It's win-win, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's win-win. And you're doing something that you love, that you want to do. You're getting leadership skills. You're building the brand of you within your company and also the company's reputation. And you're ticking that box on leadership stroke management skills that how would you have got otherwise?
Yeah. So I think as well, you know, just looking at a lot of our audience are event managers, and myself being a former event manager, every event you do is like a goal, isn't it? Really, you know, the goal is a successful event at the end of it, and then you've got all those mini goals of what I used to find, and I give this advice to people who are new into the industry, was to never absolutely be too focused on the massive end goal. We work on all those mini goals of like booking the transfers, booking the hotel, booking the entertainment, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly you arrive at the goal. So it's a matter of doing all those small things along the way. But I think you still need to look at it, but just not be massively, you know, focus more on the mini goals. That's why I think personally it's important to set those mini goals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, any event that you do, you're going to have a timeline, you're going to have a running order, you're going to have a plan of what you're doing. So an event plan, actually, timeline is a really good example of mini goals along in that, you know, if you have a venue booked or your production sorted or your content happening or by certain dates, you know you're going to have a problem in getting to the delivery of that goal on time. So actually it's a very, very good example of, if you look at
have that one for nothing, Fay. You can have that one for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great example in our industry of something where you know what the end goal is. But also, good question as well. Sometimes a lot of people ROI and stuff, and why are they doing events? Also, it's making sure when you start out running an event, what is the client trying to achieve? I mean, good example of a goal setting thing. You know, what are they trying to get to? Is it a feel good thing? Is it they want to sell more stuff? Is it that they need to motivate their people to sell more stuff? You know, so I think goals are everywhere. We just don't always maybe recognize when it's right in front of us.
That's a really good point, because you know we've had Sasha Freeze on the show this season. I've had her on a couple of times, and she's all about that very thing. You know, being focused on what the end goal is. So I think you're right. Anybody who's putting on an event for a client, you know, if you can really get them to the point where they know what their goal is, then you can be measured against it a little bit. But sometimes they're just saying, we just do this because it's our annual sales day, and we always do it. They don't really know what they want people to walk out with. So I think it would help you in your job if you can get them to set some goals about the actual conference take home.
It's a great ethos for life, basically. You know, whether you're setting yourself a goal to, you know, lose weight, be 120 pounds, for example. I'm in the middle of a goal, which I've set myself to be 120 pounds by 1st of December. And I mind mapped that out because I was stuck. I was a bit stuck on it. I had to keep eating cake, which doesn't help. So, so I mind mapped that into my goal set. And, you know, I'm now 14 pounds lighter and sort of halfway there. So I feel pretty good. But there's lots of elements to making that a success. It's a good example of a personal goal. So,
yeah. Perfect. Okay, so hold that thought if you don't mind, Fay. We're going to go to our break, and I'll come back. There's been a couple of comments in the chat as well. I'll come back to that in a second. But this is a time for the DW live show panel, where we ask the group of people, and I even answered a question at the end here, what would be the title of your autobiography? So here we go.
Okay, title of my autobiography. This is a tough one. Something along the lines of striving for a kind of perfection. And I think that's because I noticed in a recent interview that I did that I say kind of a lot, which is really irritating. And actually, since I've noticed it, I can't stop noticing it. So they'll have to put kind of somewhere in there. And then perfection, because I think we're all striving for some kind of perfection. And it can be exhausting at times, but I think it's always good to try in everything, like in events, in life. Yeah, I think you're always kind of, I said it again, kind of trying to get there.
I've always been interested in writing a book, actually. I'm not sure exactly where I'd start, but it'd probably be called Life's Too Short, because my friends say that's all I say all the time when people are being negative or stressing over things that aren't important. So yeah, life's too short.
The title of my autobiography would be Keep Calm and Never Give Up, because as an immigrant and female in the world of business, technology and digital marketing, I had to overcome many hurdles, but I've never gave up and I always kept positive and calm.
So if I had an autobiography, I would title my autobiography, This Girl is on Fire. I've got lots of reasons for having this girl on fire. One, it is my alarm in the morning, should I need an alarm. I usually wake up really early anyway. Also, I really feel on fire a lot of the time. Sometimes the flame isn't as high as it could be, and I feel like a little bit like a damp squib. But yeah, this girl is on fire. I would sing it, but I don't know what the singing might do to the video, and it might get banned. So I won't sing it. So yeah, my autobiography would be This Girl is on Fire.
Oh gosh, probably something like Sam McNeill. He didn't die wondering.
The title of my autobiography would be Make It Happen, because I'm a huge believer in making things happen and not just letting things happen to you. Massive thank you to everybody on the DW live show panel there who was that lunatic at the end, who didn't do it in the right format and got told off by his son who put it all together. Me. So on with the show. Just a few comments from everybody in the group. Just to run by you. Welcome back, Fay. So we've got Charlie Briggs said, I never used to celebrate mini goals, but it makes me much more motivated now. We've got Richard Hainsworth, who said, you can start with the end goal for any event and then reverse engineer to make it happen. But not only with an event, with a goal, I guess, which is what we talked about. And then every event has got an end goal to reach out. So, yeah, I think that's absolutely true. All those things, they were some of the things that we covered. So I know now we're going to move on to two words that you would like to talk about, or we would like to talk about: visualization and manifesting. What's your take on them? You know, is it just mumbo jumbo? Is it, you know, where are you with this?
Okay, right. So there is a little bit of mumbo jumbo with some of it. Look, if you just think about something, it's not necessarily going to manifest itself. In fact, it's 99% not going to manifest itself. If you go and buy a lottery ticket, you've got something like a 1 in 45 million chance of winning, right? So you can think about that all day and all night. So much better to think about something, but then put a positive action plan behind it. So I would say, though, if you do start doing something, start talking about it, start believing in it, as long as you've got the action plan to back it up, then you are gonna you know, maybe see some positive moves forward. But just sitting there and, you know, meditating what you want is not, I don't think, is going to necessarily get you what you're trying for. So I would say yes, visualization is good. I think so for example, before I go on stage, if I'm speaking, I always visualize myself being brilliant.
Yeah.
I visualize myself being clear, talking about the the whatever it is, the subject really well, actually coming off having applause, and that really works well for me. So that's like an inner confidence boost. That's almost like giving yourself an inner, like, yes, you're going to be brilliant. So with self-talk, so sometimes people say to me, there's meetings around the boardroom table, don't say anything because they don't want to feel small or whatever. Or they start to think to themselves, oh my God, that was stupid, that thing I said. Now, we all have done that, right? So I do have a couple of tricks for that. I do have an elastic band / hairband trick, which might not be so easy for the guys, but for some of the ladies. And that is like, if you do start self-talking yourself negatively, i.e. you're saying, oh, I can't do this, there's no way, then just give yourself a twang. So, and for the guys, give yourself a sort of mental slap and go, yes, I can do this. It's a bit like that adrenaline rush before if you were diving in a pool or something and you were a bit scared, it's like, it's just like, you can do this. So it's mental self-talk. So I do believe in mental self-talk positive, because I do think that helps people to do things maybe that they're a little bit frightened of.
Totally agree. I totally agree with that. I mean, I used to practice something when I used to play back in my footballing days. I used to do positive visualization. So you think of when you've played well in the past, you think about how you've done something, or you've hit a really good pass or a shot or something. You think about that. And then I used to do another thing. When I used to walk onto the pitch, I used to just stare at the laces on my boot for like 10 seconds. And that would be me like getting into game mode. Like, I'm ready now.
I have theme tunes sometimes. So if I'm doing something and I need a bit of energy, I pick, my walk up tune is always Bruno Mars, 24 Karat Gold, because it's my power song. So or the Spice Girls, Beyonce, Rule the World. Those are the sort of things that actually are little prompts for you to make yourself feel confident. So it's really interesting, because this is what you're talking about here is that very often people think they can't do something, and then they see someone else do something, and then they can do it. And I'll give you an example of this. So back in the 40s or 50s, there was no one had run a 3-minute mile. Right, it was thought to be impossible to run a 3-minute mile. And then there was a guy, I think his name was Roger Bannister. He trained and trained.
The
4-minute mile. That's it. Yeah, I beg your pardon. He trained and broke that that record. Right, after he did it, hundreds of other people did it.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy that I heard that fact. Yeah.
So I think when people say to me, "Oh, that's not possible," I always say, yes, it is, just no one's done it yet. No one's done it yet. Maybe you might be the first person to do that. So I think we'll always think, rather than say I can't do something, say I can do that. I just need to figure out how. So I do think
I mean, because saying I can't do that stops you from doing so many things. Whereas I think if you write a goal, you've got some way, something to go for, and somewhere, and then you'll make yourself find a way of getting to that. But if you just suddenly stop yourself, you don't even get through the front door because you've said can't do that.
Absolutely. There's a couple of books that I really recommend to people that I'm mentoring, and one is The Secret, which is really good, and that is about self-belief. And the other one is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So things that I thought I can't do, and then I've done challenges which years ago said we're doing the 3 peaks, and at the time I was 4 stone overweight, hadn't done any exercise, and they said, you're not going to do it, are you, Fay? And I said, yes, I am. Trained for 6 months, lost 2 stone, did it, and after that went on to cycle 500 miles from Paris to Derby, did the coast to coast in Scotland. So again, these are all little goals for yourself. Once you start doing things that maybe push you outside of, I've got a comfort zone thing here I'm going to share in a minute. Once you push yourself outside that comfort zone here, because this is where most of us sit, here in that comfort zone. You push yourself out here at least once a day. Find something small and make yourself do it. you know, and it could be something simple like, oh, you know, I don't feel like going walking today. No, get out there, do it. You'll feel much better. You'll feel positive. It builds on your inner confidence.
Yeah, I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've read
okay.
that one, but he talks about Dave Brailsford from the US cycling team, UK cycling team, sorry, making small changes to make 1% incremental gains. And one of the things that's talked about in this book is if you can improve by 1% every day on something you do, in 100 days you've got a massive improvement. You've got 100% improvement. So, or even more. Sorry, it's even more than what you started with. So, I think that's really.
Yeah, that's the psychology behind the Olympic cycle team. I don't know if you know about that. Back, I don't know, when we had the Olympics in the UK, that was the ethos behind that, 1%. So things like, you know, have a feather pillow if that makes you sleep better, because if you sleep better, you'll be more focused, etc. Anyway,
it was unbelievably precise just to get these small little gains. So anyway, going to get back to this stuff. I know you've got a mind map there I've seen behind you a second ago. Do you want to talk us through that? Tell us, you know, give us an example of how we can do that. We've got some comments in the chat room as well, but I'll come back to them after your mind map.
Do you like my old school flip chart, by the way?
Loving it. I love a flip chart.
I was like, you know, let's not do slides. Let's do old school flip chart. So, okay, so here's my, so if you've got a goal and you are struggling, like how to get that action plan, a mind map is a really, really good way to just visualize it and get it down and actually start to think about what you need to do in order to achieve that goal. So I've just got, this is a bit of a basic one, but I just wrote it down here earlier to sort of give you an idea. So for example, when I was struggling just before Christmas. I kept setting myself a goal of losing weight, and you know, it was too vague. I wasn't being strict enough with myself. Even don't always get it right on you know those things. So I sat down and I thought, right, what do I need to do? So I thought, I want to be 120 pounds. That's my goal weight. And I'm quite petite, so don't no one think that I'm being too skinny, because that still won't be skinny. By the 1st of December this year, but I want also to be fit and well, you know, so that was my goal. Okay. And then I thought, well, okay, what are the elements I need to look at to do this? So number one always seems to be diet, right? You know, and I tried all the diets. I've been on Noom, Slimming World, Weight Watch, you name it, I'd done it. And actually, I started doing personal training with a PT outdoors once a week. And he said to me, Fay, it's really simple. It's just calories in, calories out. You know, and he said, you can exercise until you're blue in the face. Until you get your calorie intake right, you're not going to lose weight. And I was like, right, okay, that's good. So I just downloaded MyFitnessPal, and he set me a calorie goal per day. So if I do want to have something bad like cake or wine or something, fine. But then I've eaten my calories for the day. So that was one. So I got my diet right. And I also, as I started to do the calories, I started to make better choices, because I only had so many calories. So rather than just eat one thing that was like loads of calories, I'd rather have a great big salad of veggies and stuff. So I started to be much more healthy, but still not going without my wine and things that I wanted. Okay. Number two is I looked at my fitness. And I set myself some really small baby goals I could just do straight away. So 10,500 steps a day. I got my Apple Watch as a Prezi. There it is. And I put that into my rings. And without fail, whatever I'm doing, I do my 10,500 steps. Even if I have to walk around my front room 25,000 times, I will do it. So that was a really simple thing. I then got this PT guy once a week, and he has been my accountability, because he brings me back to the fact, Fay, you know, how are you feeling, what you're doing, and motivates me. He measured me to make sure that it's not just about the weight, it's also about, am I, you know, becoming fitter, etc.
Yeah.
And also
healthier.
Healthier. And also I looked at, could I build a social element into this? Because I'm a big believer in molding goals together. So for example, we're all time short, right? We're all like, we haven't got time to do that. So for example, if one of your fitness goals is a fitness goal, but you haven't got any time to see your friends, or you know, why not do something with a friend? So I then joined a cycling club, which was one of my goals, to make some new friends locally and do it with my best friend. So that's every Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, just go on a little cycle with them. And also lockdown happened. I found a yoga class online, which I could do, which gave me the mindfulness piece. So yoga 3 times a week, again, put that in. If I don't feel like it, I don't do it, but I try and get as many of those baby goals in. And, you know, my accountability to me is a way in once a week and at my session. And I, like I said earlier, I've lost 14 pounds since
Brilliant.
the beginning of the year, and I'm feeling great. So it's about it's also about the sort of overall thing. So that's a really good way to map out a goal. You could have in here promotion, but again, on the promotion, you'd have the pay, you'd have maybe the title if you knew what it was, and then you'd put all the things you need to do in your strands around it, and you can build on those.
Quick question, Fay. Do you, when you've written something like a mind map like that, is this something that you pin up on your wall and you look at, or is it something you put away?
No, I don't believe if you're going to write a plan down or a business plan or a goal or whatever, you stick it somewhere, you know, put it. I actually have a big picture of me on the fridge in my fat bikini. So, and then I have a picture of me when I'm looking slim and gorgeous. So, and I've got my little goals all down the side of that. So yeah, I mean, you can make it fit your house or your home, because obviously that's quite big. But, yeah, you can definitely do that. So yeah,
fantastic. I love that.
I think, yeah.
Love that. So I'm just going to tell you a couple of comments in the group, because Cass Darnell, hi Cass, how are you? I'm doing a vision boarding session on Saturday. I will work on my goals so I can build an action plan behind them. I've done them before and found them really useful. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And also we had, Jan Denning was saying that her walk-on song is "This Girl Is on Fire."
Oh, I love it. That's a great, that's a great song. I want to give a shout out too on this call to Chloe Bucknell, who's one of my mentees this year on the FF15 program, but also CB Digital's her company. She's like on fire. And also I saw Kate Plowright and you said Mandy Jennings, who I know. Yeah. So hi guys as well. But yeah, great walk on song. Any other exciting comments in there then, Neil?
Yeah, I'm going to go through them. I tell you what, I'm just going to get back to that in a second. Oh, another one saying my walk on tune is "Bang Bang Into the Room."
Love it. I love that.
Anyway, so I know we're going to talk now onto something that's linked to this, you know, coaches and mentoring, you know, the things that you do and lots of other people do as well. How can that help you with goal setting? And, you know, I guess these are the kind of guys who can make you accountable as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because I've noted that, like, all of a sudden everyone is a mentor, which is okay. You know, I think that I would say is look carefully for your coach mentor and make sure you really understand, you know, what they're bringing to the party, especially if you're paying someone. So there is a difference between a coach and mentor.
I was just going to ask you, what's the difference between the two?
A mentor generally is someone with more experience who's advising, is your counsel, is your go-to, and a coach would generally be working on specific projects or specific areas with you. For example, a coach will coach someone to run. So they, for example, they could be younger than you, but if they were the previous Olympic champion, for example, and they're coaching you to get to the fastest 100 meters, then that's great. So I think that what I would say, I do both. I coach and mentor because I think it intertwines. What you need to do is find someone who, I think experience is really important. Ask the question, what have they done? You know, people are really good at hyping up their thing, you know, and I think that I'm really, if I was being mentored, I want to know that person was authentic. They're not on just some massive pyramid scheme where they're trying to, you know, rack money out of me and not really give me a lot of value. My mentoring is all one-on-one personal. And Fast Forward 15 is all the women in the program will tell you, you know, I'm on all the calls. I engage with the group all the time. You know, I'm really engaged in it. And I think to actually progress, you need a mentor that's going to give you that one-on-one time. You can be part of a group if you're cash poor and you want a sort of quick fix, then there are some groups that maybe could give you some, support. But if you really want to like drill down and like make big, bold moves, then individual sessions with a coach or coach mentor is going to help you.
So to just go through the process of if somebody here, is watching this show, I'm thinking, I might get a coach or a mentor. Let's talk about the process to actually take someone on board and what the due diligence you should be doing. What you're saying there is check out what they've done in the past, ask them to send you some of the things they've done and et cetera, and where they've worked and what they've done or whatever. So it fits with what you're looking for. And I guess surely like an exploratory conversation needs to happen as well.
I would say so. I would say that. Yeah, and also use your gut feel. Do they feel real? Do they feel like they're really interested in you? Or are they just like, another person, another lot of money? I mean, I'm purposefully not going to mentor a lot of people going forward because I'd rather work on a limited number of people in a quality way rather than, loads and loads of people. That's not my thing. But I think that also, is there a good fit between you and them? Is that, don't be all, social media is great. And I mean, obviously we've all got a brand out there, but it's also about the experience that they can help you with to actually get you to your goals and actually real time experience. What is it you need? So I would understand what have they done in their career that you think might help you. And do you admire them? Are they a good person? Are they ethically sound? Are they good at what they do? Did they have a reputation in the industry for delivering, as a leader or whatever it is you're looking for, and have they got the skill set? So if you're a marketeer, have they got that? Also, do they understand what your job is and what you're trying to do?
So quick question. So what happens if you go to a coach or a mentor and you say, this is my goal, this is what I want to, where I want to get to. Is it acceptable for the coach or the mentor to say to you, actually, I think you should realign that? Or should your goal be your goal? It's quite hard without specifics, I guess. But.
Yeah, I think that as a mentor, I try to avoid telling people what to do. That's not my job to tell people what to do. My job is to help people find it in themselves. Because if you tell someone what to do, they'll do it maybe, but they're not going to really believe in it. It has to be their thing. So my aim is to try and help them find what it is they really want in life, or in their job or whatever it is, and then help them, facilitate them to actually come up with a plan to do that. And sometimes they might say to me, well, what would you do? So it's great. Sometimes you just want someone to tell you what to do, don't you? I mean, I know, so like, what should I do? But fundamentally, you probably know it's just a case of ideally
when somebody else
you want validation. So it's like in my old days when I was leading Zybrant, people would come to me with problems and I would say, this is my thing. Come to me with solutions, not problems, and I'd send them away and I'd say, come back to me and pitch me what it is that you want. Because people will take the easy route if they can. People need to go in, think about it, and then it's theirs as well. They own it, which is fantastic.
Okay, Fay, well, we're nearly out of time. Any last take homes for the guys? Any last things they should be thinking about, just as a final take home?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've just got some few stats here. 25% of employees that are being mentored get a salary grade change. So that means it's really worthwhile having a mentor. You're 5 times more likely to be promoted. And for employers, 22% retention is better with people being mentored. And for mentors, 20% more mentors are retained. 84% of mentors became better in their jobs. And write it down and share it. That is, again, going to give you a much higher percentage. And also 89% of people go on to mentor, which is brilliant. So that's great for my scheme. What have I got here? Action plan, baby steps every day, do my goals. People talk to me about, I'm very lucky. Okay. I've worked very hard at being lucky. So you have to put the graft in. And also I'd say, if you come up with something, get on and do it. Don't put it off, crack on and get your goals. So that would be my advice.
Oh, well, fantastic. I know we ran a poll in the group earlier on. I'm going to put the results up afterwards, guys, because it's not technical hits. It's not showed me what they are. But anyway, Fay, I would just like to say thank you. That was a fantastic, really inspirational masterclass. Really, really enjoyed it.
Quick shout out, Neil. One is Fast Forward 15 mentees are doing Fashion Forward 15. Please buy tickets for them. It's for charity for New Life, and we would really love your help. If you want to connect with Fast Forward 15 or me, Instagram is at Fast Forward 15 UK. So we'd love to hear from you, or link it with me.
Fay, if you want to send me the links, we'll put that in the chat so everybody can put, or put it in yourself. We'll put that in so everybody can see that and hopefully join in. But Fay, thank you so much. That's been really fantastic. Really enjoyed it, and fantastic fitting way to end our last show of this season. So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Okay, guys, another amazing masterclass there from Fay. Before we end, I've just got some little things to say. First of all, we've got coming up in a second, we've got the weekly lowdown, and we're going to tell you what's coming up in the next few weeks, etc. And also just wanted to tell you when the next season's starting as well. But before we do that, we're just going to run the weekly lowdown with Martin Fullard, a bite-sized just a little video of all the latest events news.
Hello and welcome to the Delegate Wranglers Weekly Lowdown with MASH Media. I'm, as ever, Martin Fullard. Now, further details of the pilot business event at ACC Liverpool have been released. The Good Business Festival, which is the sole business event pilot as part of the event research programme, is due to take place on the 28th of April. Now, 1,000 people will be attending this event, and crucially, they are all going to have a lateral flow test both before and after the event. But, and this is the important part, or the really interesting part, there is going to be no requirement for any form of vaccination certificate. Now, the event's also going to be the launch of the city's Good Business Festival, which is going to be one of Liverpool's biggest events in early July. So it's a double whammy there for the city. Now, Monday the 12th of April marked the activation of Step 2 of the government's roadmap out of lockdown, so we could all enjoy a nice cold beer outside in the snow. But of course, for the events industry, the 17th of May is the next real crucial date where we know 1,000 people indoor events will be allowed to happen once more. However, some events are allowed to happen now, mainly consumer things like village fetes, agricultural shows, gardening shows, fun fairs and food and drink festivals. But while conferences and exhibitions can't take place, what is deemed as essential meetings can. Now, what's interesting is before, these events were always capped at 30, but if your event or meeting is deemed critical, there is no cap on the numbers. More information is available on the government website, which you can access through the conference news website. And that is your weekly lowdown.
Hello guys, so thank you Marty, what another great little clip from him. We're bringing these to you every week. I know we're not going to be on doing these shows for a few weeks, but the weekly lowdown will be on the Facebook group and also on LinkedIn and Instagram, and we're going to put it everywhere so you can see it, so you won't miss one. So what's coming up next on the Delegate Wranglers? As you'll see, we have got a Superstar session tomorrow. This is for people who are in the Delegate Wrangler Superstars to show them how to get the best out of their membership. Then we've got a Grow Your Business with the DW Superstars webinar on Thursday. So if you're not already a superstar, this is your time to find out all the information about it and join in. You'll see the link to any of our shows is on the delegatewranglers.com /DW-broadcast. And then on Thursday, the 29th, we've got another onboarding, and we have these every fortnight with Diane. So she'll be telling you for new members, how you can develop and stuff. So there's just going back to our Grow Your Business. This is to find out more about the DW Superstar system. That is on this Thursday. We hope quite a few of you can join us. That would be fantastic. So, well, that's it for season 2. That is a wrap. Big thanks to Ellen, Ed, Callum, and Dom from Stream for all the production services, Event Case for the registration, especially to Fay for joining us today. What a fantastic masterclass that was, and for you guys for joining in. Events as well for all the the sponsorship of the last 10 weeks. It's been amazing to be working with them. And we've just got a little clip we're going to run with you now to just give you the information about when the next season's coming on, which is Tuesday, the 1st of June. So we're going to be off for about 6 weeks, taking a break, recharging our batteries, and coming back with some more great guests and masterclasses. So once again, thank you so much for everything. We really appreciate you tuning in. We wouldn't do this if it wasn't for you guys enjoying it. So thanks very much, and I hope you can support us on season 3 as well. So with that, over and out, it's a wrap.